Good morning, my lovelies. I'm just coming on to do this week's Tarot and Oracle review video for you all. Really sorry I didn't get to do one last week. I was doing my Tarot Beginner's Guide workshop on Zoom, and it was a full intense day, so I just literally didn't have time to come on and sort of do or prepare anything. But this week I have time. So the deck that I am going to show you today is a brand new deck. Really excited. I've had this one on order for like forever, but it's finally come, it's finally arrived, and it is the Disney Villains Tarot deck. Now I know some of you saw me sort of post a little sort of screenshot of this the other day and were asking me if I could review this one. So this bad boy is ready for you guys to sort of see. Now this deck is published by Insight Editions, which we've not seen any of their decks before. I definitely don't think we've seen that, but there's their logo on the bottom, if you can sort of see that there, and also on the side, on the back there at the bottom of the cards. Now, just sort of reading what this says here. So it just sort of says, seize your destiny with this official tarot deck based on Disney's most dastardly villains, featuring original artwork of Maleficent, Ursula, Captain Hook, and other notorious, well-known popular Disney films throughout the years. So interesting. So this was created and produced in 2021. So this is a brand new deck for this year. So let's open this bad boy up and take a little look. It's a lovely kind of good quality box, matte finished. Okay, and then there's a great little book here. I will say this is official Disney stuff, this one, so it's got the sort of Disney stamp on it, if you can sort of see that at the top there. Okay, the book is full colour, lovely, and then it's just got a bit of information in the back. I'm seeing if it says anything about the author and the illustrator. Oh, it does. Yeah, so there's a little back piece for each. So the author is called Minervia Sigil. I'm pretty sure I've said that wrong, but she is the author of the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot. So it's from the similar sort of deck. I have not got that deck, but I've seen it. I've heard of it, so it's quite cool. It's a she. Okay, that's lovely. And then we've got the illustrator of this deck is Ellie Goldwyn, sorry. So that's fabulous as well. And she's UK based, so that's really interesting. So we'll have a little bit of a look at the book later on, but what's lovely is you've got like full colour pictures and then a full bit of spiel for each of the cards, and then there's some you know, spread options as well in there, so it's looking pretty good. So this is the actual deck itself. So let's pull these open. Beautiful purples on here. And there is a kind of patterning. It's sort of just like a sort of embossed pattern. Probably can't see that too well. These cards are lovely matte finish, a lovely traditional sort of tarot size. Oops. Reasonable stock quality, not too thick, not too thin. I'd say they're a medium. They're not in order because I have been using them. So what I'm going to do is just show you them as we go through, so you can sort of see and get an idea. Actually, this one, Queen of Wands, I love this one. That is actually one of my favourite cards. Love the fact we've got sort of the energy of her all glamorous and then all sort of haggy and witchy. Some of these, like with the suits, I'm not so keen on. So like this one, it's a bit basic. I think that it's a great deck for the major arcana, but I think they've got a bit lazy with some, not all of them, but with some of the sort of minor arcana, and I'll show you some of the ones that I think are a bit lazy as we kind of look through. I mean, these ones aren't too bad, these that are coming in on the cups, but I did notice there was a couple where I was a bit like, that's not really giving us much to work with. But yeah, we'll look at that a little bit more later on when we come across them. Well, these seem to all be cups mainly. Interesting. So again, we've got all of these sort of major kind of characters coming and running through. So there are some very interesting kind of characters as we sort of run through this, some that you will easily sort of know of pretty quickly. Others you might not be as familiar with. I like this one. It's obviously the traditions of the Raider weight still with that. They've still got, you know, the encompassing, but the swords are going upwards instead of down, which is quite interesting in that one. So like this one, for instance, Two of Swords, you know, it's great that you've got the Two of Swords, but it's quite basic. It doesn't give us a huge amount to work with. So like if you were new to tarot, you might struggle to read that, and you might really have to rely on the sort of the book a little bit. So like I said, there's a couple of those that are a little bit lazy, I think. But there's other stuff in here that's really, really good. So, you know, it's a tale of two halves, really. But as you can see, they're very dramatic, they're very glamorous, they are pretty cool, to be honest. Now, pentacles are queens in this deck. They've changed those to queens. This one, for instance, is one. I mean, you know, it's like, I just don't think that gives you very much of anything to work with. It's meant to be the coins, or, you know, the pentacles. I presume this is meant to be on some sort of like jacket or something, but it's just very, that doesn't really give you much of anything to work with. So if you were new to tarot and you got that card, you know, if you didn't have the book, you've not got much to work with there. So it's little things like that. I know I'm being quite particular and quite picky with that, but it's just little things that makes you think, So I think that lets it down a little bit. But if you're, you know, if you're okay with tarot, if you understand the concept, then it's not really going to be a problem, because you can look at that image and just apply. This is another one. You know, it's a little bit like, what's it actually telling you? What's its message? You know, I think even I would struggle a little bit with that if I wasn't, you know, actually in the energy and really familiar with it all. Okay, I want to kind of show you some of the, trying to find, oh no, they are just all mixed up. I was going to say, I want to try and find some of the actual main major arcana to show you, because they look a lot more beautiful in terms of their imagery. So we'll skip through some of these queen ones. Okay, so like the Hierophant here, so lots more detail in the character of, you know, who we've kind of got going on here. The same with this one, the Fool. So there's lots more kind of characterization on the main sort of major arcana. And that's why I wanted to sort of show you those a little bit. Now some of these like villains you might not be overly familiar with. There were some that I didn't fully know who they were, and I had to sort of look them up in the book, but the book does explain them all. This one makes me laugh. Anything to do with Snow White, Maleficent, Ursula. I love all the traditional sort of glamorous sort of witches. Like this is the sort of energy that I'm talking about, you know, with the magic mirror. That's pretty cool. Again, we can sort of see here, you know, that's pretty sort of powerful stuff. And I like the fact that they've sort of taken pieces, so like with the poisoned apple, they've taken sort of pieces and themes, you know, that they've sort of incorporated. So that's pretty cool. Like the Emperor here. So again, going back into like the main characters. The Empress, who everyone says looks like Cher, and I think her character initially was actually based on designing as it with a Cher sort of theme or twist. And even with like the cauldron overflowing, that's pretty cool, bubbling over. I might have to show you this complete deck. I don't know if I really wanted to, but I might have to, I think, just so you can sort of see everything and everyone that's sort of in here. When I was sort of looking through this as well, because I've not obviously watched any of the Disney classics for quite a long time, straight away it was making me think, oh gosh, I want to get watch the films again. So you might feel that as well as you're sort of looking through these, that there's certain films, because obviously for me Disney was all about childhood, you know, my whole childhood was Disney films, and so you guys might be feeling that as well, like you want to actually go and you know, watch some of these Disney classics. This is a cool card. Another one of my faves. I actually like Captain Hook as well, of the kind of masculine villains. He's pretty cool. So again, like some of these are a little bit to the point in terms of their imagery. So I like that because you've still got like the energy of the swords, but it's telling more of a story, so it's more to work with. That is better for me, I would say. You know, and things like this, there's a bit more of a story that you can sort of work with, and you can see what that's trying to tell you a little bit more. One of my favourite cards in this deck, the High Priestess, probably my absolute favourite. I love the High Priestess as a card in any tarot deck, but having the Maleficent character, that's pretty cool. The mirror's pretty nice as well, loving that one for the star. It's quite interesting that they've used the mirror for the star. The tower, pretty cool as well, you know. There's quite clever how they've done some of these when you think about it. The Hanged Man, Mr. Snakey from the Jungle Book. This one's quite cool as well for like the Wheel of Fortune. I love the fact they've used the sort of spinning wheel. That's quite clever. Okay, I'm going to show you the last couple because we're pretty much there now anyway. So I might as well. Miss Cruella de Vil. See, this is quite cool as well with the lovers, you know, when Ursula is in her sort of hidden disguise. It's quite powerful. Another Queen card. And the last one, Page of Queens. So that is the deck in its entirety. So it's interesting. It's a fun little quirky deck, this one. You know, I don't think it's one I would be working with on a daily basis, but it's quite a fun one. It's a collector's deck, really, I see. If you're a Disney fan, if you've got a love for tarot, if you love the villains and everything, which is something I actually do. I always root for the villain. I know it's awful to say, but I love a villain. You know, then this is what this deck is about. It's going to be for you. So as ever, let's channel in and let's pick a card for this Sunday. See what we need to know about. See what magic to be had. Bear with me, I just need to have a quick swig of my tea. Okay. So let's just see. Oops. What this Sunday is going to bring, what it's going to offer. Now, because these are a lovely matte finish, I know that they're new, but they do glide really lovely in the hand. So I'm liking that, and because of the size, it's an easy size to sort of to hold and to accumulate with them. That's cool. Okay, there we go. Ooh, the Magician. So interesting. Let's see what the Magician has to talk about and to tell us. So let me find him in the book. I think he was obviously near the start. There he is. So, the Magician. So lovely, like I say, big coloured image, and then his information. What I do like with each of them, they've got the card upright, so it's sort of more positive meaning, and then they do a reversed meaning for those of you that maybe read tarot reversed. I don't, but I know a lot of people do. So it just says here, the Magician is a figure with limitless raw talent and creativity. Like the Magician, smooth-talking Dr. Felicia is a flashy conjurer and powerful sorcerer who stops at nothing to achieve his goals. Okay, interesting. So then the meanings, upright. Inspiration is everywhere. You're feeling creative, unstoppable, and ready to conjure up your wildest dreams. Embrace the creative impulses that come over you with flair, because now's your time to shine. Seize the moment. The Magician Tarot card indicates it's time to harness your potential and put your hidden powers to good use. I know a lot of people are stepping up into their higher power at the moment, myself included, so I can completely take that message on a personal level as well as collectively. Now, if this came out reversed, if you wanted to read it as a little bit more negatively, then it's got here, Skilled at sleight of hand and trickery, the ambiguous shadow man, Dr. Felicia, will do anything for power and riches, but the magician, when reversed, advises you to resist the urge to turn ungrateful princes into frogs. Shortcuts and shady double-edged deals will shortly backfire on you. Work hard and stay focused to accomplish your goals, and leave your friends on the other side out of it. So it's almost like don't get kind of caught up or pulled into the drama, the sort of the darker side of things. Don't sort of try to take shortcuts to try and sort of get an end goal in something. Stay focused on the intentions, the mindset, the morals of what you're doing. Even if the stepping stones take a bit longer to get there, it'll be worth the journey. So that's a really interesting card. That's a cool card. I like that one. Yeah, fabulous. Love it. So I think this deck in its entirety, love the artwork overall. I do think they got a little bit lazy with some of the minor cards on a personal level. The box is really good. What I love with this box is the way it sits. The cards sit within and then the book sits lovely on top. Some decks it all gets a little bit sort of messy. So publishing wise, this is actually really good. I'm actually quite impressed with the publisher. Definitely. So it'd be nice to see a bit more of their stuff. But this is lovely that the cards sit really lovely, really flush in, and then that lovely little book can then just tuck in there, and it all is lovely in its box, and it just sits and is perfect. So I think that this is probably, I'd say, an 8 or 9 out of 10 deck. It is quite high up. What I will say, guys, be cautious of where you purchase this from. I purchased this on Amazon when it was on the sort of pre-sale launch, and I was expecting it to come quite quick, but I think there was a problem with publishings or printing. There was a delay, I think, because it took ages to come, and I know that Amazon have temporarily taken this off sale, but you can still get this from other places. So if you go onto Google, you'll be able to sort of see the sites where you can still purchase this deck. So I think they've had a few teething problems with it in terms of its launch, but it is a cool deck. If you're a Disney fan, if you love the darker side, if you love villain, then this is definitely one for the collection. So like I said, I think it's about an 8 or a 9. It's not my favourite deck, and it's not one I would work with on a daily basis. And like I say, I think those minor arcanas let it down slightly, but it's still a really cool deck. It's still a lovely one to have in the